It will be too much, I fear, to utter the words Happy New Year on this occasion, the anniversary of the worst war crimes Israel has ever committed. In the past 2,700 years, while Jews lived out of Palestine, first in Babylon, then the Middle East and the Mediterranean, and later in Europe and the Muslim world, Jews were never actively involved in genocide. As victims, yes. As perpetrators, never. As someone whose parents were sole survivors from their families and who have survived Auschwitz before coming to Israel in 1948 with their baby son, born in a DP camp, I feel that Israel's behavior is not only immoral, illegal, and irrational, but also tainting the memory of the millions who were murdered by the Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah.
For 76 long years, Israel has been the vicious force of death and destruction in and around the world, in Palestine and around the world, always ready to shoot and bomb, hardly ever open to negotiation and persuasion. Well beyond the Middle East, Israel is selling weapons of war to most of the repressive regimes and more than 150 members of the UN, supporting violence around the globe. Israel has rejected and ignored all UN resolutions on Palestine since 1948, causing endless and inhumane suffering to millions of Palestinians. We therefore call on all countries to suspend Israeli membership of the General Assembly of the UN.
Yes.
As was done in the case of South African apartheid state. Such a genocidal state has surely forfeited the rightful membership of the UN. The UN should then impose the strictest sanctions on the apartheid regime to force it out of the occupied territories, as decreed recently by the ICJ.
Yes.
Living on your sword, the Bible tells us, causes one to die by the sword. This is most likely the result for the Zionist project of settler colonialism in Palestine, one of the most violent colonial projects of all time, and worse in our lifetime. Israel has destroyed everything which stood once in Gaza, making it completely impossible for its traumatized and suffering population to survive there. It will take 16 years only to clear the rubble, the UN tells us, and many other decades for the rebuilding. During this rebuilding, instead of acting to expel the survivors, Israel should be forced to accept the return of the Gazans into the only country they have, Palestine.
Yes.
They should be invited and assisted to return to the homeland and live there as equal citizens in a single democratic state in the whole of Palestine.
Yes.
A non-Zionist state.
Yes.
This is the least Israel could do to atone for all the destruction and death it has caused since 1948. Such a just move will go a long way towards underwriting the life in peace and justice for all in Palestine, Jews, Muslims and Christians, as they live together peacefully before the right of Zionism. May this be the last year we see Zionism, apartheid, and genocide. Freedom for Palestine!
Freedom!
Freedom for Palestine!